No, I know, but I know.
Stop trolling, bro.
You know that?
Come on, we got a lot of work to do today.
Vamos.
Royce, come on.
Come on, Royce. Come on, bro.
All
Chill.
of these phones are in the caddy. All of our calculators are in our hot land. We're going to do a calculator problem.
My legs crossed.
Said it was his mom's birthday. No, my mom's birthday is actually Saturday.
So we're in our notes. According to the notes, matrix C, matrix C is this. Just a random made up matrix. And we are going to find the inverse. Now, the very last thing we did yesterday was we found an inverse of a matrix. But it was a 2 by 2. Can somebody remember the steps? When it was a 2 by 2, we did it by hand. So it was on the note paper. So what do we do? Here, that was when we found the determinant.
This diagonal
We
and
did-
then
we
switch
found-
them.
We found the determinant, so we did the cross multiply thing.
Yep.
You
Then
build an add.
we took these two and switched them, and these two and changed their sign. And then we put all of those new numbers over the original number we got. Okay, you might want to refresh your memory a little bit on that. That's what we did. Now, finding the inverse of a 3 by 3 is a little bit tougher because finding that whole adjoint thing is way more complicated when there are all these numbers. So, we're not going to do it by hand, we're going to do it just on our calculator. Okay, so I need everybody to get out the calculator, and we're going to go through how to put a matrix in and how to find the inverse. Okay, so if you notice right over here, where I'm pointing right here, see how in blue it says matrix? Everybody find the word matrix on your calculator? All right, so we're going to press second matrix. When you are going to put a matrix in, which is what we're going to do, we're going to put this matrix in, you do it in edit. So click over to edit and press enter. All right, now the very first thing the calculator wants, and there may or may not already be a matrix in there, doesn't matter, one bit, don't worry about it. The very first thing the calculator wants to know is, how big is the matrix you're going to put in? So what are the dimensions of this matrix?
3 by 3.
So we hit 3, enter 3. Then it sets up a box for you. And again, I already have numbers in there, but I don't care because I'm just going to type on top of them. You may or may not have numbers, I don't know. But it's set up for you, ready now to put them in. So I just start right here, and I press 1, enter. And it moves sideways, the cursor goes. So then -1, enter, and 2, enter. And then it comes down and says, okay, here we go. 0, 3, -1, 1, 4, 0. So just type in the numbers. Where's your calculator? When you get to the last one, when you get to where this 0 is, you're going to press enter, and now the matrix is in, all the numbers are set. Everybody up to this point now? All right, press second quit, because you are done putting the matrix in. All right, now go back into matrix, so second matrix. The matrix we just put in, we called A. On the calculator, we called it A. So if you press enter, did you see matrix A come up on your screen? Now, press your inverse button, which is actually the matrix button. Press the inverse button and press enter. And it tells you that the inverse of that matrix is -4, -8, 5, 1, 2, -1, 3, 5, 8. So once we got the matrix in, we quit out of there and then went back in, pressed enter, and then inverse, and then that matrix came up. Okay? All right. Now, we'll do some more practice, but right now we gotta move on. Where am I? Okay. Question D says find D inverse. Who was anybody paying attention yesterday? Tell me about finding D inverse. Has to be square. If you are gonna find the inverse of a matrix, it must be square. So, we could find the inverse of C because it was square. We cannot find the inverse I've lost my tape. This is not the right paper. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. All right. Now, we're gonna go back to our calculator in a minute, so just don't panic, we're coming back to it. But first, we're gonna do another one by hand. So we can't find D inverse. Can we find M inverse? Can we find M inverse? Let's do it by hand first, and then we'll check it on our calculator. All right, by hand first. What is the first step if I'm going to do this by hand? Well, it's cross multiply, but it's find the determinant. So I multiply these two together, get 8. Multiply those two together, get 8. And then I subtract them. Why did I say There isn't going to be a solution. Can you explain why? It's square. If it's a square thing, I could do it, but what's going to happen, Jackson?
Because when we get the other numbers, we would have to divide it by 0.
Exactly. Remember, you build your adjoint, which is switch these two, change the sign on those. There would be your adjoint. But then, remember, you have to divide by your determinant, and since it's 0, you can't do it. Let me make up another one, just so we can practice it again. So let me make up a new matrix, we'll call it P. So let's say P is 1, 4, 6, -3. Right? And we're going to find the inverse. We're going to do it by hand, and then we'll check it on our calculator. All right? So here we go. Step 1. Find your determinant. So our determinant will be what? Can you tell me? What is the determinant? -3 minus 24. So -27? Alright, now I'm going to build my adjoint. Take these two and flip them. And these two are going to become negative. Then, take all numbers and divide by -27. Simplify, and that's your answer. So 1/9, 4/27. Oh, what's that one gonna be? 2/9, -127. So this is a loop.
Is the 427 just not negatives?
They're both negative. All right, so here we go. Here we go. We're gonna find the inverse on our calculator. So we have a second matrix, and click over to edit. How big is this matrix I'm putting in? 2 by 2. So now you tell it 2 by 2, and it sets up a 2 by 2. Type in your numbers. Remember, we're typing in the original matrix. So 1, 4, 6, and -3. When you get that last one in, and you hit enter, make sure you hit enter, then you're gonna second quit, just quit out of it. And then go back in and hit enter, because A is highlighted right now. So hit enter, and then press your inverse button. Look where I'm pointing. It's the matrix button. And then press enter. Now, did you come up with a bunch of wacky decimals? Okay, press math, your math button, the button that says math.
to highlight it.
Huh?
To highlight the
Enter, enter.
No, you don't have to highlight anything, just press math, enter. And it will change all those decimals into fractions. And are the fractions the same ones we got?
They sure are.
Yeah. Now, on our quiz, which I have planned for
I don't think there's.
sometime, but I didn't write it down. I put it in the calendar. You will have some problems you have to do by hand, and this will be one of them. You only do this one by hand.
I just don't know what she's doing.
But anything bigger than a 2 by 2 we'll do on the calculator. Okay. Now, 7-2 homework. 7-2 will be due on Thursday. And now we're gonna look at 7-3. Alright, so let's all stop talking and really lock in here so that you understand what it is you're about ready to do. We have in problem 1A, we have a system of equations. In problem 2A, we have a system of equations, and the directions are the same. Use the inverse method. But for this one, we're gonna do it by hand, and for the ones in number 2, we're gonna do them with our calculator. All right? So, same problem, just a little system versus a big system. Here we go. This system of equations can be written like this. Just go with me for a second. See if you can figure out what's happening. This original system of equations, I have now written as a giant matrix equation. What is in this first matrix? What's all this? That is just the coefficients on X and Y. So here are the coefficients. Here are the variables. and here are the equals numbers over there. So does that make, going from here to here, does that make sense to you? Now, this equation, again, just go with me for a second. This equation is like having a number times a variable equal to another number. This is a coefficient, these are the coefficients. This is the variable, this is the equals number. If an equation looks like that, don't we just multiply both sides by 1/8 so that those cancel? And then our answer comes from that right there? That's what we're gonna do. Only since that's a matrix, we're gonna have to multiply both sides by the inverse of the matrix. So I want you to find the inverse of this. It's what we just practiced. How do we find the inverse of this matrix? No, first we find our determinant. What's our determinant?
5 and 1 minus.
Oh, it's not 5. Isn't it -1 minus 6? Isn't it -7? -1 minus 6. And then we find our adjoint, which would be -1, 1, -3, -2. Right? And then we divide all of those by -7. So now I have my inverse. What's my inverse? 1/7, 2/7, 3/7, -1/7. Alright, so don't get all caught up with stuff. Don't get confused. So far, we wrote the coefficients.
Mrs. Ford,
Yeah,
could you please send Erica Davis to the front desk with her house key?
sure.
Thank you.
So we have our coefficients, our variables, I don't know if that's ever happened, and our constants. Now we have just found the inverse of this matrix.
To find the adjoint, are you
You
flipping
switch these two numbers,
and then inverse
negate
every-
those. Change the sign on those. Now, I have the inverse of this. Remember when I had my equation 8a equals 16? We multiplied by the inverse. That all went away. And so basically my answer is the inverse times the numbers. So take this matrix and multiply it by 8/3. To get your answer, find the inverse of the coefficients and multiply it times your numbers, 8/3. So, we practiced this yesterday. How do we multiply? This is a 2 by 2. This is a 2 by 1. I can multiply them. And the answer will be another 2 by 1. To find that number, I'm going to take row 1 times column 1. Remember doing this yesterday? Row 1 times column 1. So that's 8/7 and 6/7. Oh my gosh, what's 8/7 and 6/7?
2.
It's 14/7, which is 2.
Is this all a quiz?
Yeah,
Is this all the clues?
you need to know how to do this. So now I'm gonna find that number. So I'm gonna take row 2 numbers times the only column I have. What's that? 4/7 minus 3/7 is 21/7, which is 3.
Sir.
Oh my God.
Now, that's a lot of work. If someone told me to solve that system, I'd probably eliminate or substitute. I would eliminate. But this is another option.
Can you divide matrix, like, wouldn't it
No,
just be simple?
you multiply by the. Yeah,
Might as well.
multiply by the. All right, so our answer,
Gotta ask.
2 comma 3. All right, now let's see if you've learned anything. Let's try E. I always start by rewriting as a matrix equation, but you don't absolutely have to do that. You just have to remember that your answer is going to come from doing what? The answer is going to come from finding the inverse of this and multiplying it times 1/6. That's how we're going to get our answer. So this is the inverse of the coefficients. Here are the coefficients. So I need the inverse of that. So I'll find my determinant, which I think is 2. Then I'll find my adjoint. So these 2 switch places. These 2, their signs change. So these 2 flip. That becomes positive, that becomes negative. And then I divide everything by 2. So my inverse is -1/2, -3/2. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to multiply those. Remember, we multiplied row times column. Give me that number. Row 1, column 1. So -1/2, -3/2 times 1/6. This one doesn't come out so nice. What does that equal? -19/2. That's fine. And then we'll do the same thing with row 2. What does that mean for actually? 2 times 1/6. And so our answer is the ordered pair, -19/13.
I messed up on finding the inverse. How would I was like trying to rewrite it. Do I flip the signs of the very first one, the one at the top left?
No, if it's positive, it becomes negative.
Yeah, so I flip those signs and then I divide each individually by 2.
Did you switch those?
No, I didn't.
Now, getting ready to go to the calculator. I need you to remember, how did I get that answer? What did I ultimately multiply? The inverse of the coefficients times the numbers. I don't know what to say, so I'll just say numbers. Right? Isn't that what I ultimately did? So, when we do problem 2A on our calculator, that is exactly what we're going to do. But we have to do it in a matrix format. So, what are the coefficients? I'm going to go ahead and call them A because it's going to be A in my calculator. The coefficients are going to be 1, 1, negative 3, 2, 1, negative 1, and 3, 1, 5. Does everybody agree those are the coefficients? So that's going to go in as matrix A. What is going to go in as matrix B? 7, 6, negative 4. Very, very good. Then you're going to multiply A inverse times B, and that's going to give me my answer. So I have to put in two matrices. So matrix A, second matrix, edit. What are the dimensions of this matrix A? 3 by 3.
5.
Alright, so I got them all in. As soon as I get them all in, press enter, I second click. I'm done. But now I gotta go back in and put in matrix B. So second matrix, make sure you put down to B. How big is matrix B? Oh, wait a second. How big is matrix B? 3 by 1. And I'm putting in 7, 6, and negative 4. And then second click. Once you get them in, get out. 3 by 1. 3 rows, 1 column. Now we want to multiply A inverse times B. So, back in the second matrix. Right now, A is highlighted. Press enter. That's A. Put the inverse notation on it. Times second matrix. Put down to B. Press enter. And then enter. I don't think we need fractions here. It comes out decimals, but they're nice. So I got, for my answer, I got 3.5, negative 3.25, and negative 2.25. Anybody else get that?
Yeah, I got that. That is what I got.
So the inverse method is a pain in the butt by hand, but it's pretty handy on the calculator. All right.
You can't always use the calculator.
2 by 2, 2 by 2. All right, now, would you and your partner try B? So you are going to do exactly the same thing. Matrix A. Oh, be careful.
It goes 3 zeros.
Yeah, we're going to have some zeros in this one.
5 0. We're lazy. Smart cookie.
Remember, when you're using the inverse method, you are multiplying A inverse times B. Are the decimals are not lawful, you can read these decimals. Otherwise, these are awful.
46, 47, 47.
Some of them, the ice is calculated, so it's like. It's getting more.
Is this what you got? I got 17 and 9.
I got 17.
Must have more memory there.
Check it.
Yeah, make sure this is what you can say. Let's see. All right, did you and your partner come up with something like that? When you get those awful, I mean, these decimals are fine, but when you get the ones that go on forever and ever, use that math track button and get them changed into fractions. All right, we have one more thing to learn. Brain moves. We're all going through brain moves. All right. So, you guys, please don't be bored. This is exciting. We are learning now our fourth way of solving a system of equations. We already did substitution, elimination. We just talked about the inverse method, which we hate and don't ever want to do by hand unless we absolutely have to. Kramer's rule, on the other hand, is often kids' favorite, and we'll talk about why. It's pretty easy. Here's how Kramer's rule works. Step 1, find the determinant of the coefficients. So here are the coefficients. Here are the x's and the y's. I'm going to find that determinant. So 3 minus negative 14. All right, is everybody okay with that? Find the determinant. Whatever the answer works out to be, and it's going to be an ordered pair, it's going to be an x and a y. They're going to be fractions, and the denominator is going to be 17. So that guy is the denominator of your x and your y. Okay? Now what about the numerators? Well, your x numerator is another determinant. So is your y numerator. They're both other determinants. When you're finding x, take out the x column and replace it with those. So in other words, you're going to have 9, negative 6 here, and then negative 7, 1. So just cut these out and put them in place of whatever coefficients you're solving for. Guess how you're going to do y? Same thing, only now you're going to cut these out and move them here. So you're going to have 3, 2, and then 9, negative 6. Now evaluate those. This one will be 9 minus 42. Did you get negative 33? And negative 18 minus 18, negative 36. And there's the answer to doing that problem with elimination. I love elimination. I would do that with, and wouldn't even be that hard to do it with elimination. But here's where the hard part comes in. When you eliminate or substitute, don't you find like X or Y? Right? And let's say we found X. This is what X would turn out to be. What do you then have to do with that X? Plug it back in, and find Y. Some of you aren't good at arithmetic or don't like arithmetic, and that would be a lot of arithmetic. Notice that with Kramer's rule, it doesn't matter how bad the answers are. I never have to do any arithmetic. I just have to do this cross multiply thing 3 times, and that's my answer. Easy. With a 2 by 2, it gets more difficult with the big. All right, you and your partner try B. Right now, try.
Right leg.
Yep. Use Kramer's rule. So remember what you do. Using Kramer's rule. So do you see what I mean about this really isn't a bad process at all? It's pretty easy. The numbers can't go bad. Okay? All right, I'm going to just pause there for a second because I give you a lot to think about today. And we're going to look at this little review thing I've got over here. Actually thinking, we're going to start this review now. We're going to finish it on Thursday, and I think we'll take our quiz on Thursday. After we finish it. We'll finish this on Thursday. Otherwise, we have to wait until all right, here we go. Come on, this has 2 sides. This is the stuff that'll be on our quiz, okay? Right here. We've learned some other stuff today. It will only what's on here will be on our quiz. So here we go. Number 1. Solve. notice there are no directions. So you get to do whatever you want. By the way, this is all no calculator. All right.
I get it.
Oh, yeah, but I have to get this one. Okay. What is your thought on this? How do you think we might,
Elimination.
what you want to eliminate the what?
The top, so.
The y's?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you do that, multiply the top by 2, so we have 10x squared minus 2y equals 6. And then 3x plus 2y equals 7. Now, what you absolutely can't miss is these don't add. This is gonna be 10x squared plus 3x. Your y's are gone, which is a good thing, equals 13. So 10x squared plus 3x minus 13. Is that by any chance factor?
You're not good at factor for you or something like that.
Absolutely. And either way you do it, you're gonna get 2 answers. You're gonna get x equals negative 13 tenths, or x equals what? Those are my x's. So how do I find my y's? I'd probably come back to this equation right here. Let's plug in 1 first. Easy one. If I plug in 1, I've got 3 plus 2y equals 7. So it looks like y is 2. Now the one that's not so easy. 3 times negative 13 tenths plus 2y equals 7. Negative 39 tenths plus 2y equals 70 tenths. I'm getting a common denominator because I know I'm gonna have to add this over, right? So 2y, adding 39 tenths, is 109 tenths. Now what? I would multiply by a half. So my y is 109 over 20. Now, arithmetic aside, as it is what it is, we have to be able to do arithmetic. That wasn't a hard problem. He chose to eliminate, which was perfect. He could also have substituted, wouldn't matter, the equation would be the same. Done. You're gonna have one like that on your quiz where it just says solve, and you'll do whatever flips your switch. Just make sure when you're adding, if you've got x squareds and x's, don't put it together. All right, 2. Who remembers from yesterday what letter 2A stands for?
Row 2, column 1.
Then, so we go to matrix B, row 2, column 1, so that number is, wait, we're in matrix B, we're in row 2, column 1, that's a 2. Right? That's a 2. What are the dimensions of matrix A? I didn't hear.
2 by 3.
2 by 3. Yep, 2 by 3. 2 by 3. What does this mean from yesterday? Who remembers what that means?
Transpose.
Transpose, which means we do what?
Like, oh, we switched the column.
Yep. So instead of row 1, what did I say? Row 1 now is column 1, and row 2 is column 2. So that would be the transpose of A. All right, so matrix C. Now, what is 2D? 2D, negative 2, 10, 8, 6. Everybody okay with that? That's 2D. And now I'm going to subtract them. And when I subtract them, I do it entry by entry. So here we go. 1 minus negative 2. Not negative 3. 1 minus negative 2. Negative 1 minus 10. Negative 2 minus 8. And finally, 3 minus 6. There we go. Easy. Would you agree that's easy? All right. A times B. So here's matrix A. Here is matrix B. I am going to multiply them. Multiply them. So, what are these dimensions? 2 by 3. 3 by 3. These match, we're good to go. And our answer will be another 2 by 3. So you have 6 numbers to find. You find those numbers by multiplying rows times columns. So that guy right there is row 1 times column 1. So I like to write it down because there's so much to keep track of, but some of you will do it in your head, and that's fine too. But we multiply each pair and add them up. So 1, negative 1, 5 times 1, 2, 3. Oh, what did you get? 14? All right, what am I going to do here? This is still row 1, so it's still those numbers, but now it's column 2. I got negative 7. You go ahead before I. See what you get for those numbers. I got it. Perfect. So Michael. All right. Determinant of A. Next problem. Here we go. We're almost done, Michael. Hang in. The determinant of A.
Cross the diagonal thing?
Can't
Yeah, you
do
can, it's not
it.
square.
The only things you can find a determinant of are squares. Determinants and inverses gotta be squared. So A, or F, I mean, determinant of A cannot be done. All right, last problem. Last problem for today. How do we do the determinant of B?
You do a crisscross and then subtraction.
Nope.
Nope.
To rewrite the first two columns.
Oh yeah,
Rewrite the
because there's
first
3 of
two
them.
columns.
And then you got 115.
Everybody remembering this from yesterday? So now we multiply, that makes 5. Multiply. That makes 0. And that makes -6.
Do it backwards.
So those add up to -1. Now we go the other way. 9, 0, -10. Wow, those add up to -1. What do we do with those two numbers? Subtract them. So -1 minus -1 is going to be 0. That's okay. Determinants can be 0 unless you're trying to find an inverse. That's not a good thing. But otherwise, that's okay. This can work out to be 0. So tomorrow, or Thursday, we will pick up there. So we got just 4 more problems to do. And then when we're done doing that, we'll take our quiz. And then we will move on with some more calculator. So make sure your calculator is ready to go on Thursday.
Cooper, can you
saw it in the back of my eye.
check and see if she's
saw it.
Yeah, she should.
I forgot to.
No, the second time it's hit.
You got it here today?
I'm here.
I'm in contact with you.
Really?
I was so obviously ready to go get set. So I'm going to be out this house.
Oh my gosh, are they doing that again?
Doing what?
Ow.
People hide in bushes.
No, it's gonna be someone.
I'm not gonna show.
I didn't even try.
Dum dum dum.